Take that, Kevin. You ready for this weekend, man?
Oh yeah, I'm really ready. Very, very ready. It's time to redeem. We got to redeem
Yes.
ourselves.
Totally redeem ourselves. Okay, so don't let me put words in your mouth, brother. What happened last week? Tennessee loses on the road to Oklahoma and usually play really well off bye weeks. What happened to the Vols, man?
You mean they lost to Arkansas, but I know what you meant.
They
You
lost. Yeah, they
you
lost
said
last week.
Oklahoma, but I know what you
Oklahoma,
meant.
Arkansas.
Yeah,
Well, they was off the bye week. Remember, they beat
yeah,
Oklahoma.
yeah. They were off the bye week. Yeah.
Yeah, and they usually play well off these bye weeks. What happened there, man?
Honestly, I don't know. I watched the game, and what I think the problem is, I think Heupel's holding. I think I kind of have a feeling Heupel was holding Nico back until they got to like Alabama and the Georgia. I think he wanted to be able to beat Arkansas without pulling a whole lot out of the bag, and unfortunately that didn't work. They got to get back to the tempo and start running the tempo stuff. That
Yeah,
is their identity. That's how they built the success in 2022 with Hooker, and and I'm not saying Nico's where Hooker is yet, but
yeah,
unless you turn him loose and let him start working on that, he's not going to get there. I mean, I want him doing it by the time we play Alabama. I want him to
yeah,
already be, and if there's any reason why I would have wanted him to start last year, this is the exact reason right here. I
yeah,
want him to already to get all this stuff behind him because would he run the table last year starting? I don't think so. I do believe he
yeah.
could have won one or two more games than Milton did, but
Yes.
you know, uh, that's why I wanted him to start last year. I understand why Heupel went the way he did. He wants the players to trust him, the senior players. He wants the loyalty, and with the transfer portal and NIL and all that stuff, it's part of it now. You have to have that part of it. There ain't you can't lock a guy up like you could in the past. I mean, that
Yeah.
they'll cut tail and leave if they don't get what they want, and then other players will see the same thing and then they'll do the same thing. But
Yeah.
anyway, getting back to the Arkansas game, I just felt like they didn't run their stuff. They didn't do what they were supposed to do. The offensive line kind of failed. Nico's not where we want him
Yeah.
to be yet, but I don't think that means that he's not going to get there. I still fully believe he'll get there. It's just a matter of
Do you how
turning him
healthy is
loose.
this offensive line coming in to this Florida game?
From what I'm hearing, they're still good, but I mean that didn't matter last week. So,
Yeah.
I mean they had Hurd. Hurd is not looking like the left tackle that we wanted him to look like at this
Yeah.
point. And then Campbell on the other side, he's getting beat some as well. And the backs have got to do a better job pass blocking, in
Yeah.
that part of the game. I believe Bishop did a better job in pass protection than Sampson did, if you want to be
Okay.
honest about it. So, and I think that's why he kind of got a little more playing time there in the second half this past week. So, I mean,
What do you think
yeah.
about those 3rd and 7 calls up the middle? How conservative was that there, coach?
Well, they're dropping 8 or 9 people, and
Yeah.
they're only rushing three, and the
Mhm.
lanes to run are up the middle. They're just not blocking, man. I mean,
Yeah.
and I mean, if he springs
Because
a
you're
run
okay
for
with that play
15, 6,
call running up the
uh,
middle like that?
sometimes I am, sometimes I'm not. And this past weekend, I mean,
Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't,
well,
right?
you've seen them do this in the past,
Yes.
and they'll call that
They
play right up the
converted it
middle like
sometimes.
that, and then he'll bust for 15, 20 yards.
Yeah.
I've seen him do that, in the past when the offense is running the way it's supposed to be run, and they're getting the blocks. I'm hoping this loss is like a springboard. I hope, Heupel's like, okay, gloves are off. We gotta go for it, and I need to turn
Do you
Nico
feel
loose. I
like
need
this
to
is
let
a
him
blessing
run
in
some.
disguise?
Maybe I was.
Okay.
Oh God, I hope so. But yeah, he needs to let Nico run more. I think too. Nico need, and I think
You're
that's
seeing it
that's a
just the way I'm seeing it, brother.
that's a
It's yeah,
specific part of it. I think that he was holding back. He didn't want Nico to run a whole lot these first few games. He wanted to get to Bama and Georgia and then use that part of his game. But yeah, he's got to do it. He's got to let him go ahead and do it. Nico, he seems like a smart runner to me when it comes to protecting himself.
yes,
He's a big lanky guy. He's a lot more durable than I think a lot of people gave him credit for. I've
Me
seen him
too.
take some tough hits, and he springs right back up, and he's not getting in any like compromised positions. I think he's a smart runner, and he knows when to run. And if that's part of his game, I think it's going to help his passing game as well.
Yeah.
Which, like I said, they're dropping 8 or 9 people. What we need to do is work the middle of the field, let Nico run some, go back to those quad sets where they got the 4 wide receivers out, and just throw screens and stuff like that, and make those guys respect the run and the other parts of the offense. And then that's when you can start going downfield. But yeah, and the pace, they got to get the pace back, man.
Yeah.
They got like the offense is what we're talking about, because honestly, they gave up 19 points, and in my opinion, that should have been enough to win. Now, did they play perfect on defense? Not by any means, but I do think they played well enough to where they could have won the game. They needed to score more than 19 points, period.
Do you think 2 possessions before the last possession, when they're down 19 to 14, if he would have been aggressive and ran like he did that last possession, 2 possessions before that, we're talking about an undefeated Tennessee team today, ain't we?
Yeah, possibly, yeah. And I mean, the good thing about it is all the goals and everything they set are still very much in front of them.
Right.
I mean, they haven't lost anything yet. They, the one game, of course, you listen to Vol Nation and you think the world has got a big crack in the center of it. I mean, they're freaking, comparing Nico to Jarrett Garantano and all this crap. I'm like,
oh no, he's not that guy.
These guys.
Yeah, that's way overreacting.
They're just, I mean, they react so bad. We're never going to win anything with Heupel. This and that. I mean, yeah, they need to start the tempo back, and that's, like I said, that's their identity. That's what got Heupel's reputation. That's how they look so well with Hendon Hooker running the offense. And like I said, he's still a redshirt freshman in his first year starting, and it's not to make excuses. That's just facts. That's just what it is.
The way it really
and
is.
He's not running and picking it up the way as quickly as I thought he would. I thought he'd be a lot better by this point.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't think it's all on him either. I think it's the way the game's being called, and I also think the line's got to pick it up. They got to do better run blocking, and they've got to do better pass protection, and that's just the way it is. They just got to play better, and I mean, we'll see how that goes. Florida, apparently their run defense is horrible, so that should help a lot. That should help a whole lot.
The dog says I second that.
Yeah, the dog seconds that.
Hey, did you are you a little bit annoyed the fact that Heupel is so how do I explain this? He's so stuck on this formation with those 2 wides. Why don't he run any pro style formations? Why don't he at least alternate those formations just a little bit?
Well, I mean, that's what I was talking about, the quads and stuff, and that was a really big thing that they've done in the past. And this is I like this about Brew as much, if not more, than this pass catching is when you put him out there on those quad sets and you throw a quick screen to another receiver and let him lead block. That kind of stuff works great for this team. It's worked great in the past, and I think it would work great right now. But we're going to have injuries. Like I know Squirrel is out, and
he got banged up the other day.
I believe I don't know what Brew's status is.
I hope he's a big playmaker.
Yeah, I don't know if he's playing this week or not. But this is kind of a good thing, though, I think, because these receivers have not been getting separation like they should, and I have felt like they should go hit that depth chart a little bit and let some of these younger guys get a chance. Like we'll probably see Mike Matthews this week. We'll probably see Nimrod, and I mean those guys. Leafcock, him as well. He's another guy that came in a couple years ago as one of the top receivers in the country who just hasn't
one of these
panned
4
out.
or 5 star guys.
So I mean, I want to see these other guys. Get them in there. They're probably some of them are quicker. They got more speed than these veteran guys. So get these guys in there. They're going to play inspired ball because this is their opportunity to show what they can do. So I think it's bad because they don't have the experience, but it's also good because I believe they're very talented guys. So, I'm looking forward to seeing some of these younger guys get their opportunities at wide receiver. So,
Yeah. Now it's either the odds makers still like Tennessee to win in this game.
oh yeah, it
14 to
being in
15.
Knoxville is a huge deal as far as that goes.
Yeah. How do you see this game playing out, man?
God, it's if they come out inspired and play how they supposed to, I believe they cover, honestly.
Okay.
But if they don't, I mean, if they come out and do the same stuff they've done this past week, I mean, we could be looking at a dogfight. I don't see a scenario where Florida pulls away, but I do see a scenario where they stick around and they could beat us.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of similar to what happened last week. They just stuck around and they beat us at the end.
And they just, they played Tennessee well. They beat Tennessee last. I couldn't believe that. I still can't believe they lost down there.
Yeah, it's
because they lost 7 games last year. The Florida did.
Yeah.
Are they going to have their senior back? What's his name, Mertz or whatever?
He's supposed to be back. Yeah.
Yeah. Tennessee will have their hands full Saturday.
He can hurt us. And Florida has looked good the last couple of weeks, but I don't want people to get too twisted on that. Look at who they played. Florida is not back.
Mississippi State.
They're still pretty bad. Their O-line is really bad. Arkansas was supposed to be bad, and we were supposed to have dominated that. So how much stock we can put into it, I don't know. I don't think the D-line played horrible against Arkansas, but they didn't play great. I think our biggest problem was the linebackers trying to cover passes. That was our biggest problem in that game. And then you just got to give it up to Green. He was throwing some passes, and his ball placement was like on point.
That's what my guest on Tuesday said. Yeah,
you just got to give him his credit. You got to give the guy his credit. It's I don't even think the DBs had bad coverage. It was just the ball placement was so good, and the receivers were making the catches. So you can't make excuses for that. You just got to say that was just good football plays, and then they made the plays. So
it really was.
The linebackers were getting mixed up though. They were covering the wrong guy. They were both going to the same area of the field.
Were they looking ahead? You think they might have been looking ahead to this Florida game?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. At this point, I don't know why you look ahead to Florida, to be honest. They're not necessarily something to look forward to, but
and they come off that bye. He usually plays great.
Maybe they were looking past both Florida and Arkansas and was thinking Alabama. We're going to go into Alabama undefeated. But I mean, maybe they were doing that. So if that was the case, it was probably a good thing they lost. That should get them to go. Get them some inspired to be ready to play.
Get them out of that autopilot, right, Coach?
Yes, change it up. I believe Heupel's a winner, and I don't think now that he lost the game, I foresee changes. I expect him to do different things this week in order to win this ball game. I don't see him rolling the same stuff out there. He's going to do some different stuff, whether that means different players in different spots or that means different formations or picking the pace, get back on the pace.
I hope they do some different formations. Yeah. He kills me with that same formation.
I want to see him go. The pace is my biggest thing. Get that fast-paced offense going. Live or die with it.
They did do have a slower pace. Yeah.
Yeah. I understand. Slowing it down and securing a win is a smart coaching move.
They did against Alabama's lacking slowing down.
Doing that against Oklahoma, that was just good coaching.
Yeah.
This past week, I don't know what to call that.
And Oklahoma's not a bad team. They beat Auburn off that emotional game to Tennessee.
We didn't have anything secured this past week. They should have kept attacking, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Until you got 2 or 3 scores ahead. Then if you wanted to dial it back, fine. But, securing the win is first and foremost. And then, dial it back depending on the game situation. But, it sucks because I wanted to be so – I wanted to celebrate Vandy beating Alabama all night. And
let me ask you about that. What's your take on that, man? What a monumental upset.
This is an example of Alabama without Saban, number one. And another example is that DB that was on the field throwing a fit while Vanderbilt was down in the ball. That's another example of Alabama without Saban. And
Wow.
I'm telling you, all these little Alabamas without Sabans are going to add up.
Yes.
And they're going to see why Saban was so special. Everybody's like, "Oh, we're going to be, DeBoer's going to take over and this and that." And I don't think
I
he's a
didn't think
bad
we'd
coach.
see this till next year, Coach.
Yeah, I don't think he's a bad coach, but he is not Saban. Period. I mean, any
Yeah.
way you slice it, but who is on that note. But at the same time, I could see him losing another couple games, honestly. But we'll see
What
how it
about
goes.
Vanderbilt? Did you see Vanderbilt elevating their game to that? They lost to Georgia State this year.
Yeah, that I don't understand that. Now, that's just like, how do you lose to Georgia State? I mean, and then they took Missouri to overtime. I mean,
And they beat Virginia Tech.
when they play good, they're good. I mean, that quarterback ain't no. He's the real deal. I like that quarterback. This is what we're seeing out of Vandy is a sheer example of what the transfer portal, NIL, and all that stuff is doing to college football. I wasn't crazy about it at first, but now I'm kind of seeing a little more parity. So
Yes.
that to me makes it a better game. And then when you expand into playoffs, that compounds it even more. So I'm like, we're going to see more Vandy's beating Alabama's, with the current structure of college football. And I mean, to me, that's a good thing. That's because you want everybody to be
ratings are way up in the college game this year.
You want everybody on as equal a playing field as possible. And if there's one thing I don't like the free for all transfer, because I don't want it to turn into a bidding war every year with absolutely no restrictions. I don't like that.
I want the bumper guards.
Yeah, if you commit, you should be committed for a certain amount of time, unless it's just absolutely extenuating circumstances. You should at least have a 2 to 3 year commitment. I don't, put a number on it. Maybe 2 years. Like, if you go somewhere, you're there 2 years. You don't go there in the spring and then be like, sometime in the summer, this team offered you this much, and then
like
I
that
don't
stuff
want that.
in UNLV. Do you hear about that story?
That's ridiculous. And I guess it depends on what story is true. If they offered the kid the money, and he got his money, and then he decided he was better than what he got, then tough, man.
That's true.
You agree to it. That's what you're getting. And if I'm on the college's side, if they did that, now if they just didn't give him what they told him they would, then yeah,
I got a feeling he bitching the offensive coordinator. I got a feeling maybe that maybe they did lie to him because his dad agreed. I don't know.
Yeah.
Either way,
give Clark Lee credit though. I mean,
Pickles is saying several players. Yeah, New Mexico. He's getting down there and recruiting. That quarterback had a lot of family in town.
Yeah,
or whatever his name is.
Yeah, he had some guts, man. He was standing in there throwing the ball, running it, and doing all kinds of stuff. I mean,
they couldn't stop him on third down when he was running for that first down. Alabama looked lost out there.
Yeah, and that's why when Tennessee plays Alabama, we need Nico running. Period.
Now I'm confident Tennessee can beat Alabama now.
Yeah. I mean, like, that's what I'm. Everybody saying the world's ended because we lost to Arkansas. I'm like, we win these next 2 weeks, dude. We're like around.
You only dropped to 8.
Yeah. We're right back in the top 5 probably because we got Ohio State and Oregon playing each other this week. I mean.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on these games, man? What's your thoughts on Ohio State, Oregon? I'm back and forth on it, to be honest with
you. Number one, Ohio State, I guess they thought they were smart in as far as the quarterback goes, getting Howard from Kansas State.
Yes.
McCord is better. If you want a guy to
you like McCord better? Wow.
He was better. Look at what he's doing at Syracuse. He's he's putting up numbers at Syracuse without all the talent around him. McCord with talent around him is good. Now, am I saying he's going to be like a top 5 NFL pick? He doesn't have the measurables, probably not. But if you want a guy in college, he's similar to Stetson Bennett. Like, he'll win you ball games.
Yeah,
you put talent around him, he'll win you ball games. I've seen Howard play. The reason they're undefeated is because they haven't played anybody, first of all.
Right.
And Howard, as far as his passing goes, it's really minimal. He's not that great.
Telegraph.
He's a good runner, and he's got the good athletes, which is why he's got the passing stats that he does.
Yes.
Honestly, I expected that freshman quarterback that transferred from Alabama to eventually beat him out, and
Wow.
they haven't played anybody to test him yet. So I guess he's holding on to his spot because it kind of the same way with Jalen Hurts and Tua. Tua didn't get in there until Jalen Hurts couldn't cut it.
Right.
Maybe that might be what it takes with Ohio State.
What about their running game? Joe Klatt's real high. This guy with Fox, he's real high on the running game.
Yeah, they're good. They're good everywhere. They are good everywhere on that field. Ohio State is one of the most talented teams in the entire in all of college football. I don't know what the rankings are, but I bet you their roster is ranked in the top 2 or 3. So I mean, they're good. They're really good. So
I mean, too. Let me double check.
I just don't. I don't have a lot of faith in Howard, and I'm still not real sold on Oregon. I don't think they're bad, but I don't think they're great at the same time.
They're not as good as they're. Yeah, no, they're number 2. It's Texas, Ohio State, Oregon. So you got 2 and 3. Yeah. My preseason pick was Ohio State was going to be really good, but I don't know if they can win up there in Eugene, even with that running game. No.
It'll be tough. Because Oregon
and Gabriel's played in big games before.
Yeah, Gabriel's gotten better.
Yeah.
As the season's gone on, I still don't think he's all world, but he's still okay. He's okay. And I think Ohio State has better athletes.
Yes.
But I don't like their quarterback. I think he'll get a little bit exposed this week. And
you're leaning Oregon, ain't you?
No. I'm leaning a one score. I'm leaning a 1-score game. I don't know who to pick because if the game comes down to a last possession and Ohio State needs Howard to lead them down the field, I'm not confident that he can do that. I'm more confident in Gabriel leading them down the field.
I'm leaning Oregon, although I've been back and forth.
Ohio State.
Yeah,
and because of that alone, and the fact that they're in Eugene, I'd probably just slightly ever so lean Oregon, just because I like their quarterback a little better. Hey, had Gabriel transferred to Ohio State, that would have been a match made in heaven, in my opinion. But I mean, you know.
And Gabriel was with Oklahoma last year that beat Texas, and we know how good Texas was last year. What do you think about that Texas-Oklahoma? That's a big game. Is Texas looking ahead, Coach?
That is a big game. I don't think they're looking ahead because they lost to Oklahoma last year.
But they got Georgia next week.
Plus, it's the Red River rivalry. This game, this is one of those where you can just throw the records out the window.
Yes.
They're going – I mean – I wouldn't be surprised if Oklahoma upsets Texas this week. Wow. I don't believe it's going to happen.
Me neither.
I'm leaning Texas just because they're the more talented team. But I leaned Texas last year too because I thought they're the more talented team. But yeah, it's just Oklahoma and Texas. It's just one of those deals. You just never know who's going to win that game. I think Texas is going to win, but like I said, if Oklahoma did show up and beat them, I wouldn't be surprised.
Do you see Quinn Ewers getting benched? He's supposed to be back this week. Do you see him getting benched if he throws a couple of picks early against that Oklahoma defense? I tell you what, Venables has fixed that defense. I just don't think he's head coaching material.
Defense has played better for Oklahoma. I don't think Ewers is going to get benched. I mean, Manning was throwing interceptions against who was it? New Mexico State.
Was he really?
Okay,
I didn't catch that.
I mean, he's still. Don't get me wrong, he's playing good, and I honestly think they're 1A and 1B. I don't think there's really much of a drop off, regardless which one you have in there. But you got to go with yours just because of his experience.
Yeah, okay.
So I mean, but yeah, I think they'll be fine.
Yeah,
I think yours will be fine. He could throw some picks in this game though. Oklahoma, if they play them like they did Tennessee, they're going to drop a lot of guys back. So I mean. They're going to make Texas run the ball and all that kind of stuff. So,
yeah, I was really surprised. I honestly, I think if they lost that game, I know that they gave Venables a contract extension. I'm sure the fans would want to get rid of Venables because he's not been that impressive other than that big win, and of course the fixing the defense overall, don't you think?
Yeah, well, you kind of got to look at it like this: the fact that the defense has been a problem for over a decade,
Yes,
and he got it fixed. That's huge.
that is huge.
Just bring in an offensive coordinator that's the guru, and let
Yeah,
him install that offense. I mean, freaking bring Chip Kelly in there. Hell, I don't know,
yeah.
but
Chip is with
yeah,
Ohio State. Yeah,
yeah, he's with
he's
Ohio
going
State
back
right
to
now.
Oregon. That'll be interesting. That's another
And
storyline.
see if Chip Kelly had I think maybe that's why they got Howard, because Chip Kelly's offense typically you need a running quarterback, and
Yeah,
McCord was not a running
Mariota type
quarterback.
of guy.
But yeah, I just think McCord would do better with the athletes that they got at Ohio State than Howard's
That's an
going to do.
interesting take, man. That's something I'll think about come Saturday. Ole Miss at LSU. This is huge. 2-1 lost teams here, man. I think
Yeah,
the winner, that's the closer to the playoff. The loser, they're on the outside looking in already.
yeah. This will be a pretty good ball game. Where's this one at now?
It's at LSU, man, at
Is it
6:32
at night? Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I'm actually I'm leaning LSU just a little bit
because
actually
it's at
in
night.
that game. Yeah. That should be a fun one as well. I kind of wish Tennessee was playing at 2:30 if I'm being honest, because I want to see
What's up
those
with
games
that?
at night. Yeah, I
Ain't
don't
you
know why
so
we're
annoyed
playing.
by that,
I don't
Kevin?
know why we're playing Florida at freaking 6:00. That tells me that people are tuning in when Tennessee's playing. That's
Yeah.
what that tells me. So if we win this game and we win it convincingly, then next week, I don't know. You got Texas and Georgia too. I don't know. We'll
Tennessee, Alabama next week.
Will game day go to Knoxville, or will they go to
well, they'll be in Austin.
Not
Will
they
unless
go to
Oklahoma
Austin?
beats them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't really care where they go. I don't care if they're in Knoxville. They don't have to be in Knoxville. I just want to win the game. If we win the game, I don't care where they are. It will be. I do believe it'll be a night game though. We'll play them at night, I'm sure. But
Pickles is right. Ole Miss is good. They rebounded big from that Kentucky loss.
Yeah.
South Carolina's not an easy out.
Yeah, they're not, but I don't know. The way Kentucky freaking just run on them, I believe that's what LSU's going to do too. They're going to run the ball on them. Hey, Jackson Dart's legit. He's a good player and everything.
I've been thinking about having him replace Will Levis.
Ground the tempo of that game way down and let them get on the field like once a quarter or something like that, kind of like Kentucky did. Because if Kentucky can just line up and run at you and freaking have to complete like a 9 or 10 yard pass every other series, I mean, I believe LSU could do it as well because what's the LSU quarterback's name again?
Something
Offenheimer. Yeah,
something like that.
He's better than the Kentucky quarterback. And
really,
and I believe they got better skilled players. They definitely got better skilled players outside of Brown for Kentucky.
You ain't suspect that LSU defense. That LSU defense is just not what it used to be, man.
Yeah, that's the only thing. And I'm not hoping. I don't care who wins this game. I'm gonna be honest, but
it's a good game though.
Yeah, it is. With being in LSU at night with the crowd and everything, I think that might help out that defense a little bit. So I mean,
let them play on a drilling. They did beat Alabama one year.
It could end up being like one of those shootout type games. They could score
43,
a lot
42.
of points. Yeah, I could see that happening. I could see a shootout.
You think Penn State, they're not in any jeopardy of losing to USC, do you think?
That depends on what USC shows up. I mean,
yeah, that's true.
I
can't believe they lost to Minnesota, man.
The way
makes LSU's win look bad, don't it?
The way you beat USC is just play bully ball, like friggin',
Michigan.
Test them, run at them. Yeah. Bully them around, push them around, and they don't respond very well to that. So
yeah,
you can line up, and Penn State's got the personnel to do it. They got the big offensive line, the big backs, and of course the quarterback can run. I mean, yeah, they are they going to USC or is
it's going to USC? Yeah,
yeah, okay.
I think Penn State's going to take them out of their misery. That third loss, you don't have to worry about USC no more. I ain't gonna talk about USC.
Yeah, we spent years talking about every time the magazine come out, USC was picked to win everything, and they never would. I mean,
Colin Cowherd, he was like their spokesperson, wasn't he?
I'm telling you, he's like a death sentence, man.
Hey, what do you think about Jalen Daniels playing in NFL so far? You know, I think he's out playing Caleb Williams right now.
Jalen Daniels is the best quarterback in the draft at this right now, as we're talking.
Okay.
I don't know if you saw. It was like a meme that come out the other day with Jalen Daniels. I shared it actually. It was talking about. It said he shows up at training facility every day at 4 a.m. He gets his lifts in and he gets the film study in before any of the players even show up.
Wow.
To the facility. So, and I shared it and I said, this is why he is having success.
Gets up earlier, works harder.
He works his butt off, man. And I'm happy to see him having success. I'm really.
You think they're going to knock out Baltimore? That's the biggest game of the week in NFL, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a tough game. Where is that played at?
It's in Baltimore.
In Baltimore. I think they got a shot.
That's going to be a good one, ain't it?
Their defense has looked really good, and Daniels has looked really good. I mean, watching him, I've watched 2 or 3 of their games because.
Did you think he'd get hurt at this point? Because remember, he got hurt in that Alabama game last year.
Yeah, he's playing smart though. He is playing smart. He's not putting himself in those positions to get himself injured, and he's running just to get his first downs and stuff like that.
Pickle thanks Michael Vick. He's got better touch than Vic at this point. Pickles,
yeah, he doesn't have as strong as an arm as Vic, I don't believe.
But he don't overthrow as much as Vic.
Yeah, I think he's more calculated in his passes and stuff. And
Kingsbury's good for this role. I don't think Kingsbury's head coach.
Exactly what I was about to say. Kingsbury is using him perfectly. The scheme and everything they're doing with him is just perfect for him, and it's working. And he's only going to continue to get better, the more he plays. And I'm really rooting for him. I hope he continues.
Did you see this? I didn't see this coming, dude. When they got drafted,
I wasn't big. Number one, I wasn't big on Williams at all. I just a lot of little things like the intangibles and stuff. I'm just like he just doesn't.
That more about Lincoln Riley.
Yeah, I'm just not feeling Williams, and and he hasn't shown me a whole lot so far. I think he had a decent game this past weekend, but
he did.
Yeah, I don't know if the players are basically sold on him, his own teammates. I'm not sure. And as far as I didn't like Drake May because of I just think he's going to have a lot of turnovers. He had a lot of turnovers in college, and
he went to a bad.
That's the hardest thing, like coming in the NFL and not having a bunch of turnovers.
He's playing this week. He's starting this week.
Yeah, I'm interested.
It's going to be a disaster.
See how he does. As far as Jane Daniels, I actually thought he had a chance to be the best rookie. I didn't call it or anything, but I was really interested in seeing him play. And Pickles is actually right on the money. He makes really good decisions.
77% completion. That's unbelievable, man.
Yeah, he makes good decisions. He don't make stupid throws and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I've seen him throw some dimes, like some down the field, like hit him on the money, ball placement. Really
you don't think he's
placement.
A Stroud level, do you?
No, not right now.
No, I don't either.
I think
some are trying to say that, but not yet.
Stroud is exceptional at just dropping back in the pocket and reading the defense and picking teams apart. Like that's why I wanted the Titans to get Stroud so bad because I was sold after, and they lost the game against Georgia. But what he did against Georgia, I'm like, that is the best defense in college football, and he is like just picking them apart.
That goes back to Nico.
Yeah,
let Nico use his legs, right, Coach?
Exactly, and I mean, Stroud's the guy, man. And Daniels, I don't know if he'll get to that spot where he reads the defense like Stroud does. Maybe he will. I mean, I don't know.
Running the offense they do this week.
Yeah, running the offense that they run, that's not really asked of him. So I don't know. Maybe he gets to that point. Maybe he don't. But they're progressing him along pretty good. I think the way he needs to be progressed along at this point. So
yeah.
Yeah,
I was
I
just
like
asking
him.
because he just won the Heisman last year, and I know
Yeah,
you
yeah.
keep up with the college game like
I'm a
I do,
fan.
brother.
I'm a fan of him. I like
Yeah.
watching him play. So
He
I'm rooting for
shocked
the guy.
me. I'm pleasantly surprised. The better quarterback play, the better the product, right, Coach?
Yeah. Quarterback. You get your quarterback number one, and hey, that's the start of it right there. So,
Yeah. Well, I'll
but
tell
yeah,
you what, man. If Tennessee knocks out these next two, I got to bring it back. Then again, if they
absolutely.
don't knock them out and they lose both of them, we'll have to dissect this thing anyways.
Yeah. I'll have to choke down some crow. So yeah, I'm ready though. Hey, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It is what it is. I mean,
They got the defense to do it. Like you said, take the handcuffs off. Let Nico be Nico.
that's it. Just let it fly, man. I think.
Play
I
like you
think.
did that last drive, brother.
And hey, I can live with it. If they lose doing that, I can live with that. If
You
they
don't like
lose
losing playing
if
scared,
they
though.
lose doing the same thing, then I'm like, you didn't address anything. You just
Yeah.
come out and just,